We're gonna hope this works. I really have no whether it will or not. Try to check the stream. So I'm hoping it will. It says I'm hoping. Let me check my YouTube. Maybe we're good. Hopefully we're good. Okay. I think it's working. Y'all are gonna have to tell me how good it is, and I'll check the YouTube VOD after. Because I bet it's gonna be fucked. That's fine. Probably fine. Alright, I should be able to see chat now. I don't know if people... I kind of doubt people chatted, but... by now we should be good. Oh, what's up? Wow, Femboy Senpai. IRl Test stream, plus you'll be gooning. Did I read that title right? Yeah, gooning's in most of my titles. I'm always gooning, okay? You guys can't see... Guys can't see my hands, okay? That's what I'm telling you. I'm always gooning. I am the ultimate gooner, okay? Y'all think I'm joking. But I'm not. I never am. I never am. Never. Oh no, no way, Botrix directly joined the channel. Let's go. Forgot. I don't have the regular chat set up for this because it's annoying. The regular chat I use is annoying, but which in some ways works better, but also doesn't let me do the idiosyncratic things I want to do. I think I have like the most complicated OBS setup, okay? Because I want to do very specific things a lot of times, and there's usually very few ways to do the very specific thing I want. So I have a bunch of plugins to do a bunch of very specific things, and a bunch of a fuck ton of overlays on my OBS on my computer. Obviously, right now, not using OBS, but yeah, it creates problems. Because every goddamn time OBS updates, some plugin breaks, and I gotta go fix it. And it's annoying, very annoying, but it's worth it for the very specific things I wanted to be able to do. It might not be worth it. It might not be worth it. No one even needs. I don't even need half the things I set up. I think it's worth it. Probably. Why am I not able to... Oh shit. I just took a fucking screenshot. Oop. Okay, that's a little scuffed. I have my split screen thing enabled, but I don't think it was meant for landscape mode. Definitely was not meant to landscape mode. Uh-oh. I'm seeing 0 megabits per second. Fucking nowhere, too, which is annoying. Because that means our data But that's fine, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Fanboy senpai, ooh. I don't wanna say that. You specifically have a name I don't want to say. Most of the names are embarrassing in some way, but yours is especially dumb. Hold on, I'm checking some things. Okay. Thanks. You're welcome, I guess. I guess if that's a compliment for you. Just because the split screen on this, I mean, maybe the boomers don't know, because I'm streaming from my phone to restream. I would have to capture my stream on OBS and then mirror it to a short stream on YouTube. It's kind of hard to do. But yeah, dude, I tried to get some other fucking app to work. I spent $10. I spent $10 on a fucking app that I can't even use, okay? Or I can use it, it's just very bad. Oh, I'm now live. Oh shit, did the stream crash? Oh shit, it's over. Dude, broadcaster app, okay? Which should, being inside a different location, isn't an IRL stream. I'm outside, brother, okay? You can, look, that's dirt. That's fucking dirt behind me. All right, bro. Bro, look at it. How do I flip the camera around? Bro, look at this. There's grass. Literal grass, okay? Literally. Grass. Ideally, it's supposed to let me... Uh-oh. Are we back? I might need to figure out if there's some type of disconnect protection thing. Bro, what's up, Kyle? I'm assuming it's very laggy and also constantly disconnecting. Let's go. Wrap it up, man. How broke is it? I think it's like I said, I'm gonna watch the YouTube VOD after. But I also don't think there's much I can do other than hope that if I do stream, I have better data. But probably not. So you might just get a recording upload. Month, because I'm going to pay for 1 month, obviously. Supposed to let you. It works on Wi-Fi, okay, and then it was a fucking pain in the ass to get recording. Is fucking annoying to do on the Google Wi-Fi shit that I have. But eventually I got that to work. What's up, Princess IRL? Yeah, hopefully. I don't know how good this is looking. But hopefully, yeah. Remotely, technically it connected, but it was literally you would get 1 frame per. There'd be 1 corner of actual good quality backpacks. Bro, I didn't even. I was considering maybe getting a going to Walmart and getting a gimbal or whatever, but I'm not gonna be fucking one time, okay, maybe tomorrow, we'll see. So it's just not worth it to do anything other than set up some stuff on my phone. just not worth it. Are you familiar with Ezra Klein? I am familiar with Ezra Klein sample text, believe it or not. Believe it or not. I use BellaBox Cloud to send video to OBS remotely. It costs $10 a month. Again, let's go. I kind of doubt it's going to be much. I will try it. Although it might be fucking 90% green and purple, and like one little fucking. My data it's not that bad. Okay, I live in a rural town. Bro, I need the Mr. Beast fucking looking at his page on Lowe's because he has Mr. Beast in Lowe's. I have what's up CRT IRl true. I might end up, honestly, there's a good chance I end up doing, believe it or not. The issue is like it's just it's annoying in terms of it doesn't let me control my own camera, especially because I have AI shit. Like it has 3 cameras. I recommend IRl still set up if you want. It took me a bit to figure out. I mean, I think the fucking data, but yeah, I mean, we'll see, because I might need, depending on what I need to process. I'll DM you if I do. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's the Pixel phone. A lot of the camera stuff is like, oh, $10. Now it is worth the process. I appreciate it. Hell yeah. Work, by the way. The alerts should work. I can see the alerts. So the alerts work. I don't know if the TTS is gonna work. I can set it up with OBS tomorrow or later today. But yeah, Pixel 7, all the Pixel phones really. A lot of the cameras like AI. It's well, first of all, Discord doesn't even let you zoom in with your camera, right? But like when you zoom in, it's not actually like zooming. It's like combining the feed of 2 different cameras. Be less bandwidth. I think so, but what's up, Hunter Young? Welcome. The low down Ibani. Okay, I don't know how to. I'll just focus on the Rizzler part. I think it would, Tron. It would probably be less bandwidth, but it's that I like. But I might end up having to do it. Do you know Destiny? Believe it or not, Discord, I DM'd him like a single time, so we're basically best friends, and he knows everything about me. It looks like you're 15. Looks like you age 15 after. It's true. The streamer, I do know the streamer. Aged. Hold on, guys. This is gonna be worth it. Okay. You guys are really shocked. Alright, you ready? This is some insane shit. You know Joe Rogan. I do know Joe Rogan. I kind of aspire to be the Joe Rogan on the left. Look at this shit. Do you see this? What the fuck? What the hell? What the fuck? This guy's awesome. This isn't my patio. This is like a public picnic shelter thing. Don't worry, I have this fucking toad to protect me, okay? He'll eat them. Dude, you know what I've been thinking about? I read, oops, well, actually I should put him off of the table so he can actually jump away without jumping 3 feet down. I've read a decent amount of insect suffering and stuff, and they're like, oh, the funny thing about insect suffering is that because of just the like sheer number of insects there are, even if you assign like only a very, very small probability it. So, if you say like, oh, I think there's a 1% chance that insects are sentient, and then you would also assign a very small probability towards their sentience having like any or like value. It's like, I think they suffer like, 0.1% as intensely as humans do. Even if you say like 1% chance they suffer, and even if they do suffer, even in that 1% case, right, they suffer 0.1% as intensely as humans do. Like, insect suffering actually ends up being like a big problem because of just, again, the sheer number of insects, and like you kind of get implications where it's like humans should devote their which some would take as a reductio against utilitarianism and veganism. It's so funny because like one of the blog posts I've read, he blogs about it. I don't know his name, but he blogs about it on like reducingsuffering.org. It's like he has like a YouTube video and a blog post about how to like not harm insects that are like close to dying or whatever. You should try to paint. But I do think that like technically, like if you're still sold on like this insect suffering thing, shouldn't like the expected value of killing an insect probably be positive, like even if it's a healthy insect, like because like presumably that insect go on to have like hundreds of thousands of, or at least thousands of babies, right? Like that's kind of how insect populations work. It's like even if it is like a healthy insect, if you like, even if you killed it in a semi-painful way, you'd be avoiding the presumably painful deaths of like thousands of other insects. So it seems weird. It seems weird to be like so focused on, oh, if there's, I gotta be careful not to harm it, and I gotta like, take it outside and do all these mean things to bugs because I think they suffer, when like a lot of them wouldn't be positive. Like if they're already at the end of their life, insect would go on to live a happy life if you didn't kill it, presumably. But who knows? Who knows? This is an idea I came up with on Twitter. I need someone to donate $1 million. You are still okay with people destroying environment for the all you do is irrelevant if I hold you to that position. Well, it's the world's biggest polluter. Is military spending the world's biggest polluter? But like maybe it could be. Your question there. I don't know what you mean by shitty state. Do you mean U.S. states or do you mean like governments? I'm assuming you mean governments. Shouldn't all vegans be advocating for the eradication of life or all life? No, because I think first of all, there are different like types of vegans, obviously. So like a lot of vegans don't buy into the like wild animal suffering. And there are a lot of vegans who system, right? So like if you just are a deontologist or whatever, and you think that U.S. military is the biggest polluter in the world, I don't believe that, but okay. Maybe it's true. Who knows? I mean, we do have a big military, But it's like, so a lot of people will be like, oh, I'm concerned with the rights violation of animals, and be, the factory farming and killing them. The rights violation of animals would not be, pretty sure it's transportation. Well, how broad do you want to go? Does our military pollute more than China's military? I mean, we probably do have a bigger. I think we have. Do we have a bigger military than China? Maybe like because our. Well, no, I was gonna say maybe because like our planes are more advanced, they use more fuel or something. But presumably, I would assume like our jets are more efficient than China's jets. So even if China has less jets, which I a decent number less jets, like maybe they do actually pollute more in the end. Okay, yeah, but so a lot of vegans are, and they say, oh, I don't want humans violating the rights of animals, but it's not necessarily like violating the rights of animals just to like let predators exist, right, and to let wild animal suffering continue. And a lot of other people, have like are somewhat concerned, but it's like, oh, it's a either they'll say like, oh, it seems like a lot of these positive lives. There are some people who argue that, let's say like, oh, well, I'm going to use the example of bees. I don't think when we get into insects, it's a little weird, but they'll be like, oh, it's like bees, like, bees don't have like a good, and it's not like, like they spend all their years working, but it's like, that's it's just like, although I don't actually know. Can someone look this up for me? If you just like give bees honey, do they like stop working like in the Bee Movie? What is that like light? Why is there, or is that on my screen? That's okay. Never mind, you're wrong. About what? What was I saying? Talking about bees. Oh, now this light is super bright. I was saying bee. Oh, I don't actually know. If you just like give fucking bees, like wild bees, honey, do they stop working? Someone look that up, because it would be interesting if that were the case. You are wrong, good sir. True. So people who dispute whether animals have like negative lives in the wild, and people make that's the only life they're ever gonna know, right? So maybe it's still valuable. It's like a big like positive, and like even if existence is full of suffering for these animals, like that, that's the gift of existence alone is enough to outweigh it. I find that implausible, but people argue about that. And then obviously, I do think a lot of lives are net positive. I think I don't know where it's hard for me to draw the line. I think it's pretty likely that insects live net negative lives, very short, full of suffering, die painfully, and then sort of as you scale up, I think it gets more complicated. A lot of like cows live a decent amount of time. They don't like necessarily, like I'm talking about wild cows, don't necessarily like have it's in the Bee Movie. Jerry Seinfeld told me so. But yeah, that's what I'm like. I mean, the Bee Movie could be right. I don't know. I need someone to look it up. I'm trying to think, what are some wild animals that I think live positive lives? I don't know. It's hard for me to determine if like small mammals like squirrels, but I think they probably enough to have pretty positive experiences that probably outweigh I bet Nonfon kills bugs when he sees them. I was talking about that earlier, Cotter Boy. I don't know if I don't think you were here for that. But I was talking about how the people who write so much about insect suffering and that stuff also like have blog posts about how oh, you should be so nice to insects because, and like, to me, it seems like if you care so much about insect suffering, because presumably, even if you kill it semi-painfully, which I think there are probably pretty painless ways to kill insects if you do it immediately, like thousands of insects that bug could potentially have, because most bugs have like thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of fucking babies. So, but there's that. Kind of what you derailed me. I was talking about wild animal suffering still. Oh, yeah, I was saying I don't know how to determine whether like small mammals live good lives or not. Do you support the mosquito holocaust? Maybe. The issue is, I was going to get to this objection later. Holocaust stuff, the insect genocide thing. It's just that, it's very hard to determine what the second order effects, if any, given. He's taking a frog. You can go back in his stream and saw I treated that frog very nicely. I can still, in fact, see him sitting over there. I showed him to you guys, and I put him down peacefully, okay? Frog is unharmed. But, so I think, obviously the concern with mosquitoes, even the concern with, like, genetically modifying mosquitoes so that they don't carry malaria, is just like, okay, well, is there some, like, unforeseen environmental negative effects on other animals that we, care about more, and we're going to destabilize the entire fucking environment by doing so. But again, I've talked to Isaac and Big Papa Buckaroo about this on Twitter. It's like, okay, insects, all the birds are going to die. Okay, it's like, maybe birds also live lives full of. A lot of that goes away when you think about like how good is the life of a bird really. But like I said, I don't know. I'm less sold on small mammals and birds. Lives, they just chill with their family and live nice long lives. Yeah. Well, I think orcas like definitely live net positive lives because they're like very intelligent. They live long lives. Like, how painfully they die. Like a good amount of insects die like very painful deaths, like either like or like starving to death is probably one of the best ways to go for them, realistically. A lot of other animals don't necessarily have so many of that same problem, but I don't know. Anyway, this is getting back to where I tried to initially go for. This is my idea for a charity on the topic of bug suffering, okay? I had hoped for this, and my hopes were shot down a little bit by what I read when I looked it up. But almonds and a lot of other nuts and plants and stuff, but almonds are like by far the most use like colonies to pollinate them. So like there's an entire industry devoted for like beekeepers to like just create bee colonies, so that the colonies in the US are at some point, although I believe sometimes they do produce honey in the meantime, right? And Besson Bulldog has this post about how bees are colonies are not particularly good. So this is my idea for a charity. Instead of Shrimp Welfare Project pays farmers to use artificial pollinators rather than bees. There are artificial pollination machines. They're not particularly useful. Of cross-pollination bullshit that we can't easily replicate. It's not the fucking right type of pollination and stuff that we can Need some smart person, okay? If I ever become a millionaire, okay, this is my planet. Okay, there's $1 million, pollination machines for pollinating almonds. All types of aquatic mammals either drown or get do they? Well, actually, no. I think I remember hearing about this somewhere. Don't like sperm whales. Like Pierce has released hot episode of the show. Chink was in second place tonight, so I think later tonight. I don't know for sure. And I think making a new one. I don't like the. I don't hate the. It's just like podcasts like I'm doing, and who knows? Okay, maybe one day I'll return. No one cares about, and none of my quote unquote fans. Kind of too, like, I think like ideological, to like for me to like invite people on. I think it'd be really fun to do an episode with Benson's bulldog, and it'd be kind of weird. He might still say yes, but I just feel like it's a little, right. It's like, I'm fine. There's plenty of non-liberal people too, who I think we wouldn't necessarily just like be debating. It'd just be a conversation on like, maybe something we agree about. And it'd be kind of weird to have that conversation on like the Deep State Liberal podcast. Like if I was talking to C or whatever, which is an area we mostly agree on. Have a conversation about like immigration policy on the Deep State Liberal podcast. Okay, it's like as a libertarian, like it feels weird to do that. Yeah, that was my reasoning. I think I have some good ideas for it, but we'll see. We'll see. Where is the gimbal? I did not buy a gimbal. You want to see what's holding my phone up right now? Rock that I picked up from the ball some people on Facebook Marketplace for the gimbal. They did not accept, believe it or not. Like considering going to Walmart and getting one, but they don't even like. I'm not don't matter that much. That was a nice rock. I'm gonna have to return it to his place when I'm not a retaining wall, but some like fucking retaining rocks. Okay, I believe it's meant to prevent erosion. I don't wanna. Okay. Anyway, that's people to work on artificial pollination machines, okay, for the almond farmers out there. Does that rock have consciousness? Probably not. I do think the guy who writes for the reducingsuffering.org website, I think he does. He has a blog post. I haven't read it. He's like, computers might be marginally sentient, which I think that's a funny thing to believe. It's not fun. Chuz or Huz? I don't know. I don't. Am I getting? I'm only not. I should understand the brain rot terms. I understand what Huz means. I don't know what it means to be Huz. All I know is that isn't Huz something. Does Huz just mean boyfriend? Girlfriend? That seems shut dog. True. He's my goat, okay? He's my goat. My goats, but he's one of them. There's a new scientific theory that consciousness is like an aspect of matter. Oh yeah, I've heard. I was talking to good face reveal. I was talking to David about that, Potts David G, a while ago. Because it is, according to him, and I believe him, right, it's like philosophically justify how consciousness can arise from a bunch of yeah, I don't know if scientific is the right word, but philosophical idea. But it seems kind of hard to justify why consciousness can arise. So it seems like, I think like some people are like, oh, therefore consciousness must be some fundamental, must be embedded in the fucking up cork, okay? There's the up cork, down cork, and the consciousness cork, okay? But I don't know. It seems weird to me, but I don't know enough. I saw I saw a post on Twitter that was like, oh, atheist, how atheists solve the problem of the mind or whatever. And it's like half of it is don't think about it. A third of it is read a Sam Harris book. The like last third of it is there's a few categories people to get them. It's like, oh, they think emergence solves everything. And like, listen, maybe I'm naive, but like it does just seem like emergence is like the most like plausible thing to me. But you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I'm not a okay. Maybe we'll get into it more one day. Maybe, but I doubt it. I doubt it. It's all panpsychism. Yeah. That name of a fucking fundamental particle nonsense thing. Yeah. Well, it's all that rock isn't conscious. I mean, I think like you know, as someone who just expressed his seems from which I hope I'm using that term right. Believe I am. You know, obviously it seems like in order for consciousness to emerge, complex neural system behind it, or complex. I guess in theory you could have not. You know, you need a central nervous system or some type of maybe synthetic equivalent. We'll get there. Like, it seems like all our best evidence says that, like, hey, it seems like things with brains are conscious and things without brains are not conscious. Not to be agnostic about whether the rock is conscious. I mean, I think, like, but to some extent, you have to be agnostic about, right? And whether everyone else is just they're just a pea zombie. Like, I don't think, you know, I don't think there's a good way to prove whether or not other people are conscious as well. But, like, prove in the, like, very strict sense of the word prove. I think, you know, we can, assuming we trust our sense data, seems like there's pretty good probabilistic evidence that everyone else is conscious as well. Yeah, but, you know, mix of fascism and neo-Confederate. Okay, base Game Boy, let's go. So this fucking light isn't. It's not a convenient place to sit. Oh, someone said something, but I didn't see it. I think that might have just been Game Boy's chat, actually, still. And I have a good way to view the chat history. Because this split screen's kind of broken. Tuned in from London, England. What we're talking about here? Well, welcome to the stream. Not much. We're talking about insect we're talking about insect suffering and wild animal suffering, and the implications of we're talking about just the normal stuff like the implications of buying almonds when almonds rely on bees to pollinate them, and those bees probably live pretty bad lives. If everything's conscious, is it more moral to eat human meat? Probably not, because things would have different levels of consciousness, right? I think that's the most reasonable thing to base it off of. The vegan man is here. You've been here, haven't you been vegan? Vegan, by the way, never answered. I think, I posted this on Twitter. I think it basically is unfair to consider almond milk vegan. Bees are like a major input into almond milk. It's I'm no almond farmer, but you just could not have the majority without man-made bee colonies, it seems like. So it seems fair to consider that basically an animal product. Is a beehive one communication works like a neural network? Oh, creature? No, I don't think. I don't know what creature means. Using bees exclusively, also fuck over the environment, causing the extinction of native bees. There is that as well. But honeybees are not native to the U.S. When we have a bunch of man-made bee colonies and are also constantly shipping them across the entire country, there does seem to be negative second-order effects of that. Some hot topics. Can I introduce a topic? I mean, I guess. How your stream keeps cutting out. Yeah, this is my first. Data is not great. We'll go on a little adventure real quick. I don't know if we'll actually end up getting better. Oh damn, vegan's leaving. Dude, there's another person here. I didn't expect anyone else to be here. I wonder if they heard me talking about fucking insect suffering for 30 minutes. Look at this wonderful neighborhood park that we have here. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know exactly what topic is hotter than almond milk is not vegan. That's a pretty up there fucking hot take. I've received 100 messages. What? What's up, the common good? Learning is radical? That's so true. I think Western politics is broken. Oh shit, I didn't get to read it. Something about Western politics being broken. Oh shit, I was busy walking. Oh, I should have brought just my tripod so I could set up. Something here. I don't know, I might have to set that up. As a utilitarian, I believe discussing deep philosophical questions results in small net loss of utility, so I don't talk about it based. I think that might be true. Well, this is not convenient. What's up, Radical Coder? Democracy is irredeemable outside of managerial decisions for local community. Has no use. I don't think there's much good evidence of that. I mean, I'm trying to think where I could set up my phone and have it be. I guess if I stand up, oh, there's a fucking light in the background. That doesn't even work. Never mind. I think, like, it seems clear to me that democracies have, just typically have better outcomes than any other type of system that we've tried. So, like, go to Starbucks, bro. First of all, I don't even know if Starbucks is open anymore. Oh wow, what a wonderful setup we got going on here. Incredible. I want a hot topic of veganism. Veganism is only here because a bunch of hippie travelers went to India and saw Indians have been eating its way for thousands of years. Took it like everything else, tried to make it cool and label it veganism. It ain't a hot topic. Fuck. Just people wanting to attention because they don't eat meat. Ain't nothing. I mean, I think clearly, go to your car. My car is like, I'm like a 10-minute walk away from my home right now. W democracy, true. I mean, I don't know how veganism originated. Like, wait, it could be true that people stole it from India or whatever. But I think it's likely that some type of veganism would originate anywhere at some point. You gonna split some game at Batty's? Yeah, for sure. Thanks, ZRT. Just because I think people always would, someone somewhere always would have had some type of moral objection to eating the way we do, right? I think that's very likely. I don't know. How are we going to say? Throw us in newbie 2-sentence personal mission statement. Like, I don't know. Like my personal mission statement. I want to maximize net utility. Okay, that's all. That's my mission statement. That's all I need. That's all I need. Truly. It's just we probably have incorrect. Different sects of Hindu are vegan. So, oh, you're talking about more like vegan. Veganism started at Vans Warped Tour in the 2010s. That's true. There's a fucking train. But yeah, I think it's I think people eventually would have always had some moral objection. I'm not convinced that the reason veganism started, like especially in the U.S., was because of that, because they stole it from India or anything. React to video. It can maybe do that later. First of all, actually no, because I really don't care anything about what Hans Hermanabe has to say. I really do not. Think I'm good on that one. But second of all, maybe I can react to stuff later once Isaac is here, but not right now. Is corn vegan? How many rats have to die every year for your popcorn? So there is obviously there is crop death from agriculture, but I think so this is like what so with almonds, like the input to producing almonds is man-made bee colonies that like otherwise wouldn't exist if we like didn't grow these almonds and everything. With like crop death from like growing corn or any crop or whatever, I think that's much more defensible, because like it's simply it's literally just farmers defending their livelihood, right? Like if there was a human, going to farms and destroying them, like, and suppose like you just could not reason with this human at all, the same way you can't reason with animals at all. Like, it would almost always be like just to kill that human if they like were like truly gonna like actually destroy your farm, which not only has negative effects on you and your property, but also would mean, you know, less food supply for everyone else as well. It's like, obviously we have to grow food. And also, guess what? Okay. What do you think animals eat? Like, livestock eats. They eat plants. So we're growing a bunch of plants and causing crop deaths to feed animals that we then kill. So, you know, you can kind of avoid that issue. You know, there's less crop deaths in a vegan society because we're not growing as much food to feed it than kill animals. But promote a plant-based lifestyle, I don't know what you're saying. And Jane's Asian, yeah, you guys are still debating, like in India. But if there were armies of hungry humans walking around the lands and he built a farm without, oh shit, turn the lights off on me, what the hell? Without giant walls, you'd be inviting death on them. Well, I mean, I don't, so I don't know, like, if the animals that eat like farm crops don't have a other source of food. I don't know that to be the case. Like, I can see that being the case. I simply don't, I don't know enough. I would imagine that, you know, there are plenty of cases where animals simply prefer to eat farm crops because it's easier and not because it's a necessity for them or whatever. But again, you kind of get into weird areas because it's, you know, depending on what animals eat crops, they might think that they have net negative lives anyway, right? So, why not advocate for an agriculture industry and real estate developers to use methods that capture and resettle animals from the land they use? I don't know if I'm 100% against that. I think, I mean, I think, like, it would just be a question of weighing, like, again, if you do believe that a lot of wild animals live short lives full of suffering and then die painfully, you know, like, it'd probably be good to reduce the future population of those animals. So to that extent, relocating them and not reducing the future population of the animals would probably be bad. But, you know, I do think that there are plenty of wild animals that live positive lives, and would have negative effects in the environment more generally if you remove them. So, you know, to the extent that relocating them, which, to the extent relocating them also wouldn't have negative effects in the environment, because obviously if you relocate animals to other environments, there are going to be potential implications there. Then I think you should probably do that. Anyway, hold on, I'm going to try to move. I don't know where though. The area I live with a giant desert that they pipe in tons of river water. So the rat there live only on what they steal. What steal from humans. Yeah, so again, like, I think the my ideal, I think crop death is still bad. I just think crop death is like way less bad than animal agriculture, right? And I think humans do have a lot of negative effects on animals and stuff outside of animal agriculture. I just don't know, like, the best way to deal with that, right? So, what if I use ISIS batting as quality video? You didn't get a gimbal? I didn't. Well, the gimbal I don't think would have helped. It would have, like, been slightly more stable, but it would not have made my data better. Best part of our crop deaths, to note, most animals that are counted under crop deaths are actually killed by predators, not by farming. I mean, that makes sense as well, yeah. I mean, I don't know the source for that, but listen, another argument for killing all the predators. Farmers are also polluting environment and causing pesticide overuse. Again, like, you know, I think you guys know my response by now. At a playground, you should get a big bottle of vodka like Localist and drink it there. That's true. The localist does do that, although he said he really likes to swing at his playground because of how long it swings for when he's drunk. But I don't really have that. I have regular swings. But I say we go back to hunting. If you personally can't kill a chicken and eat it, then you shouldn't eat it, real. Dude, I have a Ness, I'm sorry if you hear. I have a friend that's like, oh, I only eat the animals that like I would kill personally. So like, oh, it'd be too hard for me to kill a pig or something. But a chicken, I'd fucking kill a chicken. And it's like, to some extent, I can like see the semi-logic behind that. But at the same time, one, I don't think you'd kill a chicken in real life. Ness, I don't believe you. You're lying. You're lying. But two, I think there's actually, like, strictly, like, speaking, if you're gonna, like, cut, like, one meat out of your diet, it should probably be one meat that's not fish. If you're gonna cut one meat out of your diet, it should probably be fish. And then second would probably be, like, chicken, just because because chickens have, like, shorter lifespans, and, like, there's just so many more chickens, like, and you don't, one chicken doesn't get you as much meat as one cow does, right? Obviously, it's kind of causes more suffering than eating cows or other animals, right? So I think if you're gonna cut meat out of your diet, it shouldn't be based on what animals you personally would kill. It should be based on what causes the most suffering per kilogram of meat. And I think number one is probably, number two is probably chicken. But number two might be other fish and then chicken. Are those predators, though, cats the humans brought in? I don't know. I don't think farmers use that many cats nowadays. I could be wrong. Yeah, I should have brought my tripod. I don't have a good way to set anything. I need another fucking rock. There aren't any. Goddamn. We need open borders. Truth nuke. Truth nuke. I'm coming more around to the open borders thing. Like, I've always been pretty pro-immigration. But I think, like, I don't know, I haven't heard, like, I think you'd have to phase in open borders. But, like, I think, like, within 10 years or something, you could probably have essentially a, like, 95% open borders policy. I think that'd probably be a good thing. We're reading on immigration because, like, there's a lot of research and papers about every single thing. But I don't know, it's just, like, really seems like immigration's a pretty big positive. Wow, incredible. There's gotta be a better way. Why should government determine where I can live or work? True. Well, I mean, I think the way you can phrase it is like, why should I oppose open borders? Believe jurisdiction is small like a city size, or should be small like a city size. Oh, well, that makes sense for you. Yeah, I mean, I think like the way like libertarians phrase it, it's like, oh, why should a government have be able to tell me like who I can hire? It's like, it seems a little weird. Brian Kaplan has a funny way of arguing it. where he's like, like fucking closed borders are worse than worse than Jim Crow laws, because Jim Crow laws are just telling you, like part of the country is off limits to you if you're a person of color, whereas closed borders is telling you, well, the entire country is closed to you, like indefinitely, and it affects way more people than like Jim Crow laws do. So and like if you asked like almost any immigrant would probably choose or at least would be immigrant would probably choose moving to America with a Jim Crow level of rights over not immigrating to America and having closed borders here, with no 14-year waiting list just to get here or whatever. But yeah. Presumably. Not fun. You have the same train sound audible from your room. Yeah, basically. I mean, the train's relatively close to us, so it's loud enough to be heard anywhere in this neighborhood. Should I feed my cat vegan food even though it is 100% carnivore? I mean, I'm pretty sure there's vegan cat food out there that's perfectly fine for cats. Like, I think technically, like, you should probably do it. Anyway, sure, they do nutrient in meat. Not really. Vegan cat food exists. Yeah, I know there is vegan cat food, but I'm a veterinarian, okay, so I don't know. I don't know what the relative effects are. Trying to cover up for the sins of closed borders, real. Truth nuke, Tron. That is true. Truth nuke. The only concern that immigration should be the national security and housing. Yeah, I mean, the housing thing is weird. Just because intuitively, I feel like if you just, I don't have like, strictly speaking, like I don't have evidence of it specifically, but I think if you just got rid of the zoning laws, it feels like housing supply would be able to keep up with a phased-in open borders policy, right? Like if we just started accepting, a million more immigrants every year, and then within 10 years you had it uncapped. And I don't even think, I don't know necessarily if we would see 10 million immigrants in that 10th year or whatever. If you phased in like one, we accept 1 million additional immigrants every year for 10 years. It feels like housing supply would probably be able to keep up with that. I feel like it, and to the extent that housing is expensive, like it would discourage immigration. Like people, well, I say that, but to be fair, I think like there probably are a decent number of people who would prefer to live in the U.S. and basically be homeless than live in their country in whatever housing they have there, right? So maybe not, but to some extent, like if housing is expensive because of immigration, you're probably not going to see a ton of more immigration because immigrants can't afford the housing. So, there's some self-correcting mechanism there. To some extent, at least. Incredible argument that we're having in chat right now. You realize having Dearborn, Michigan situation replicated in every American city would be a disaster? I mean, I don't think it would be. Look at Dearborn, a school board meeting, drama around LGBTQ books, how Muslim majority set representatives it is gone by now. I mean, should have open borders. We could have 4 different professions. I mean, yeah, I think like it's kind of insane to me that we have caps on like H-1B visas. I think like 10 million per year for 10 years, so 55% of population of all of Mexico plus Central America. No, I said like you would like we're phasing in open borders by having or at least like 90% open borders by like just accepting in like 1 million more immigrants every year. So you would do like, you know, this year we'll accept, although we kind of, depending on we kind of already accept this number, but like you'd be like, oh, 2020, you know, 6 we're accepting 1 million, 2027 2 million, 2028 we're gonna do 3 million, and so on and so forth until you basically get to 10 million, and like at that point I think I don't know if many more than 10 million immigrants a year would ever come to America. I find that, well, maybe, I don't know. I find it unlikely, but maybe it's not that unlikely. But I don't know, cap it at 10 million then. What was I talking about before then? Oh, did the Dearborn, Michigan thing. I mean, I think like most of the data shows that immigrants assimilate over time, right? I think, you know, I'm not familiar entirely with Dearborn, Michigan. Sure work, but we're not fixing zoning overnight. Well, yeah, that's obviously, that's all. Yeah, you'd have to. Yeah, that's. I don't know how you would. I don't know how you would. How you would go about actually fixing zoning nationwide if you wanted to do a nationwide immigration policy, because you know, obviously zoning is to a large extent a local issue. I keep losing my train of thought because I read a new chat. Oh, the Dearborn, Michigan. I'm not familiar with like everything there, but like, you know, I think we just have to encourage immigrants to assimilate. I think the data shows that they tend to assimilate over time anyway. I think like you can have them like let them come over and just like don't let them vote. I'm not saying like give them all citizenship within a year. I'm saying like let them come here and work here, and then guess what? A lot of them, by the way, very well may choose to go back and retire in their home country. Like I'm sure some of them, you know, some of them will have children and stay here and stuff. But like, you know, there will be seasonal immigrants. There will be people who come and work for the U.S. for 10 years and then say, you know, I've made enough money. I'm going to go back to my home country for my retirement. You know, like I'm not saying get the whole citizenship immediately. I think there should be a pathway to citizenship that's probably easier than what we have now. But I think like, if you have some pathway to citizenship that, by the way, requires some level of assimilation, because, you know, it should probably be required to speak English. You should probably be I say like basic civic knowledge, but you know, I think the basic civic knowledge we require right now in the immigration test, from my understanding, is probably too much. So you know, you should be able to name the first president. Okay, Washington is, and that's good enough. Look at this, UK over 90% Muslim city. I mean, I can't look at it right now, at least I don't think, but you know, I think I think like you just encourage immigrants to like assimilate generally, but I also don't have a problem with like and we've seen this historically, that, you know, immigrants will come over and sometimes they'll, you know, develop their own communities. Like that's why like New York has Chinatown. Like, yeah, look at like any, like even San Francisco and you know, other places. Look at like the history of New York and you see like, oh, you know, a bunch of Korean immigrants moved to this neighborhood, a bunch of Chinese immigrants moved to this neighborhood, a bunch of Irish immigrants moved to this neighborhood, and like you know, you don't you know, I don't think that's like an entirely negative thing. I do care about liberal democracy, so I do care about people who have illiberal ideas affecting our liberal democracy. But for one, I think immigrants probably aren't even the main concern there. Like, I'm probably, like, about as concerned with a Muslim immigrant as I am with, like, either like a Trumpian person who lives in America, who's lived in America their whole life, or I might be more concerned, depending on the type of Muslim, I might be more concerned about the Trump supporter. Or like, people who, I don't think like most like academia stuff is like illegal, but illiberal, not illegal. But like, even like people, people in college who are like communists, like the young people, the youngins like me, okay, Gen Zers who are all fucking communist, socialist people. Not that all of them, not that too many of them are like 100%. All of them are just like, like people who vote for Zorhan, right, are not like, oh, I'm a communist and we're going to centralize everything and we're going to not have freedom of speech anymore. They're just like, hey, I think we should tax billionaires and, have some, have public financing in elections and things like that. I don't know. I'm about as concerned with those type of people as I am with like a lot of Muslim immigrants. So people who voted pretty evenly, Harris, democracy, truth nuke. I mean, I think, I don't know, like I said, I think like most of the data just shows that immigrants tend to assimilate over time. So people tend to have, but I think like if you're so concerned about that, like, I guess this would probably require, you probably have to get rid of birthright citizenship, I guess. Although, maybe that doesn't need a constitutional amendment, actually, because, thanks to glorious leader Trump, okay, we can redefine the Constitution with executive orders now. Let's go. But, I mean, you could just have, like, you could just have a system where you, there's a fucking spider over there. You just have a system where you let immigrants come over and, like, you just don't let them vote. Like, just don't. Which, like, immigrants that come over now, obviously can't vote until they get citizenship, which takes forever to get anyways. But just don't let them vote, and don't let wait until the third generation. We need third generation birthright citizenship, okay? So you can't have second generation still has to work for the citizenship. Third generation, okay, they're all right. They've assimilated enough, okay. You left our house, there's little to slim hope for you. House sale, what do you mean? Is that a threat? Is that a threat? Why are you so worried about race and religion who enters your country illegally? Are you talking to me or are you talking to the other guy? The reason I was talking about it is because the grand design you already mentioned, like, oh, don't we see examples of, like, a bunch of Muslims communities in the UK and in Michigan or whatever doing stuff you don't like, not fun or whatever. And it's like, I was like, I think to some extent I'm concerned with people broadly who have illiberal ideas. Now, I use Muslims as an example just because he was using Muslims as an example, who are not Muslim who also have illiberal ideas. I think there are a lot of Muslims who do have liberal ideas. Liberalism as well is tolerance, and we should be tolerant of those who have, different beliefs than us. I think, that's why I was talking about it. I'm not that concerned about it. I was the one arguing for, 90% open borders. I was just explaining, like, I'm not that concerned with the situations he was talking about. UK citizens have fear of exercising free speech towards criticisms of Islam. I don't know. Why do you keep talking about the UK? I don't know. I don't know enough about the UK. I'm sure that's true to some extent. Okay, I've read Sam Harris, right? I've read about situations like that, and again, I think that's why, like, you should just like have some. You should encourage some type of assimilation over time, and I think immigrants in the U.S. do tend to assimilate. So like, I just don't think it's like a big problem here. Maybe the UK has bigger issues with it, but yeah, like. Again, don't let them. I feel like just don't let them. You don't have to like let them vote. Like, you can have them come over here and work. They don't have to get citizenship immediately. I'm not saying immediately give them citizenship. I'm saying let them come over here, let them work, and many of them will choose to go home. Like I said, either they'll work here seasonally, or they'll work here for some time before going back to their home country for retirement or whatever. An open border isn't okay if you can feed and house everyone. Can work over where they come from. I mean, what do you mean by you? I mean, I think, like, obviously, most immigrants don't are typically like net contributors. That's obviously a big reason why I'm in favor of immigration. I don't think that like they just drain housing and food from from everyone else, right? Like, immigrants are the one making your food, brother. Like who do you think is picking all the strawberries? Okay, it's all the immigrants, right? Like, yeah. So I think obviously that's thing there. UK deserves to be taken over. UK colonized the whole world, went and pillaged land. Told them the UK was the motherland, like what they did in India and Bangladesh, which they still did 70 years ago. So when the Indian people start flooding into the UK, they start getting upset. True. I mean, I don't know. Like, takeover is just such a weird word. I'm not familiar with the UK that much, but like, I don't know. Like, I don't think you see that, and I don't think like India, what are Indian people so substantially changing about the UK, even culturally? Like, I'm all for India taking over. It seems like the ironic natural order of things. No, Tron, I missed your thing. UK was dumb for affording colonial people to move in. I just don't think that's true. I hate when people come from Islamic countries to be professors and engineers and do less crime and bring better food. I know, unbelievable. But I've considered a really, really big negative externality because I just hate seeing brown people so much. Immigration is more about keeping wages down over anything else. Why do you follow this race BS? What do you mean it's more about that? I don't believe immigrants substantially depress wages. I don't believe there's any good evidence of that. I mean, I think the cultural objections are probably the stronger objections to immigration, just because, like I said, I do care. Like, I do care about liberal ideas. So to the extent that, like, we're importing people and they're all Muslim terrorists, like, I think that's a better argument than, like, but what about the unskilled workers who are gonna blah, 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 blah. More people, less work. People will work for less. First of all, no, does not imply that there's less work, right? Like, there are jobs. There's probably more work overall. First of all, if immigrants reduce wages, you would expect employers to demand more labor because it's cheaper now. But like, yeah, I mean, immigrants also demand products, right? Okay, they demand a bunch of stuff from other people, and that tends to even out their effect on wages in the areas they compete with people for labor supply. Even Borjas said it, and he is a Harvard and racially Mexican. Listen to marginalized people. True. Even like you said, Borjas, who's like the big critic of immigration, like, even he is like, oh, it's like a decrease in wages for like high school dropouts. And his work is pretty controversial. I haven't done the full read through of everything, but like even he says like they're done for hundreds, if not thousands of years. What, immigration? Slavery was about cheap labor? I don't. I mean, okay. I don't see how it's particularly relevant. But yeah, I mean, you just typically see like immigrants just don't like reduce wages that much because they also demand products and everything. And then, like, obviously we should care about production too, and not just wages. Like if we just have a bigger labor supply and can produce more things, like that's overall good, right? Like there are there are, you can't really have it both ways where you're like if you're obviously if you're like artificially protecting native-born workers or whatever, like you're hurting native-born consumers, right? Like there are products that will never be made, right? There are jobs that will never be created because immigrants aren't here to do them, right? Like if you ban owners and producers, you're hurting people who demand products, right? There are people who buying products from immigrants by immigrants because we ban immigration. They are talking about you in this server. Wow, thanks. A middle-class person should have at least 4 people working for them full-time. That's, yeah, true. That's Shirley Massatwell. Wow. I love Kick so much. There are 3 people trying to get a job. Are you going to engage with anything I said ever? I just I think I just responded way I've been talking about that for a long time. What's up, Riff Haven? Things are good right now. Again, there's more products demanded too because of immigrants, and again, to the extent that they do repress wages, I would hope you would acknowledge that in that society there's more work done, right? Like production increases, like there's more things done, more labor is demanded. Yeah. But yeah, you just don't see like we have studies. Like we have good reason to believe that immigrants probably don't have a big effect on wages. It's based on basic supply and demand. Okay, they increase supply, but they also increase demand the same way native-born workers do, right? So there's not a lump of labor, right? There's not a fixed number of jobs. So we have good reason in theory to believe immigrants don't have a big effect on wages. And then let's look at the empirical evidence. Oh wait, all the empirical evidence says like no big effect on wages. So you're dropping out. I'm trying, and you were trying to straw man this argument. Are we talking immigration? I take it based. I don't know how I'm straw manning it. I think I've, bruh. Can I disable Kick chat? I don't think I have any mods in Kick because usually no one chats in Kick. Sorry, there's a huge effect on wages. You just don't see good, again, so we have good reason in theory to believe that's not the case, and then the empirical evidence confirms that there just does not seem to be a big effect on wages. Yeah. And then I don't know how many times I have to repeat it, but I would hope we would acknowledge, even in the case where they do have an effect on wages, there'd still be other positives. You'd have more work done in society. You'd have more production. You'd have more overall consumption, right? That's obviously still can be net beneficial, but. monkeys stronger together. This is true. This is true. This is real. You know, there's also an interesting argument. Nicholas Decker has like a blog post about it. It's like increasing returns to scale in immigration. You know, like an idea, like any idea has like a fixed cost. I don't want to say any idea. You know, ideas have like a fixed cost to develop, right? Like I have to put like the same amount of work into developing an idea, you know, no matter what, essentially. But the idea has a lot more benefits if there's a much larger population, right? Like if I come up with a idea for some type of, you know, some way to cut crops more efficiently, right? To harvest crops more efficiently. That is a much bigger benefit if the population is larger, because more people can, you know, use my idea. So you know, you do actually probably see increasing returns to immigration because of that. Well, all my life there has been an overabundance of people. I don't believe that's true. Wages go down when there's a shortage. Wages go up. As a fact, not a study. Okay, so if we're talking about the effect of immigration on wages, I would hope that we would not look at just general labor shortages and general labor oversupplies. So I would hope we would actually look at a study about the effects of immigration on wages. But also, obviously, like it's trivially true, anytime there's a labor shortage, the price of labor gets bid up. Yeah, that's kind of how that works, buddy. It's like, okay. It also means we produce less things. It also means we're probably less rich overall. What, trivially? I mean, maybe I cut out, maybe I pronounced it wrong, but trivial. Facts are facts. I agree. It's like trivially true that in a labor shortage, like the labor gets bid up. But it doesn't really, again, you're not responding to any of my other arguments. Like, for example, the fact that there's not a fixed amount of jobs, right? So when immigrants come over here, you know, we have to feed them, right? So demand products from restaurants, and guess what? That can actually increase the number of jobs in the restaurant industry. So even if they, you know, raise wages in the restaurant industry, so even if they have a negative effect on farm workers' wages because they compete with farmers, guess what? They could have a positive effect that outweighs it on restaurant workers' wages. Your studies does not disprove my lived facts. That's so true, buddy. That's true. Yep. Me when I love it. And study enjoyer versus, study fan versus anecdote enjoyer. Let's go. Why are you denying your chatter's lived experience? Yeah, I'm sorry. My bad. I think America would be stronger if we had 100K people, not 300K. True. Think about how much wages would go up, bro. We're talking about immigration. The word alone suggests legal, so nothing wrong with it. True. Also, if a country had the opposite immigration max exodus, everyone would assume it's terrible for the economy. Yeah, I mean, people will deny this, but like, obviously, like, if all the women stopped working in America, if we sent all the women back to the kitchen, like that would not be good for the economy. Do you own a house? I don't own a house. I'm 19, so no. But okay. This economies to scale, having more than 10 people, fixed costs go up. That's true. Now, do you believe there's such a thing as illegal immigration? I mean, yeah, like by definition, like unless you're gonna make the argument like, it's illegal or no one is illegal on stolen land or whatever. I don't. Maybe I don't put the same meaning to illegal as you do, but you know, obviously there are illegal ways to go to the U.S. Do you want to? I don't know. I mean, I think I don't know actually. I think I probably see myself mostly renting. How dare those illegal immigrants make sure food doesn't rot on a tree? I know, unbelievable of them. Unbelievable. Then what's the issue? The issue of what? I think I like, I don't know, I can see myself renting. I don't know if I don't want to live in the suburbs. I really, maybe I'll change. I don't know. I really don't, I don't like driving. I don't like, what's up, Cullen? I don't like, the suburbs. Okay, I think I want to live in a apartment. Okay, or some condo, or even like some townhome. Okay, and those things I probably rent. I probably would not buy. Probably would not buy those. I don't know. Granted, I can't click on anything Grand Design Enjoyer on my phone. I don't. Do you understand how if there are too many people and not enough houses, how stupid it is? Well, I think you should just not constrain housing supply. The issue of housing is that we artificially constrain supply. But guess what? If we didn't do that, people would build more housing in response to the demand for more housing. So don't constrain the supply of housing. That's how markets work. Now, when we believe that there is illegal immigration, then I don't see what the issue is. Issue with, I don't know, issue of what? I don't have a big issue with immigration. Like, I have some issues with illegal immigration. Well, people say illegal immigration. A lot of times they just mean asylum seekers, and I have less of an issue with that. Like, legal immigration is real, but also based. True. I mean, I think like I don't like usually the reason illegal immigration is bad in my view is just because like it's the tax system, which I'd prefer them to do. And like there's still probably plenty of illegal immigrants and net benefits, but like I don't know, I'd kind of rather them just be legal and have work authorization. Need sewers and power and other things that all needs to go where and be dealt with. Okay, I don't see how this is. I don't see how this is relevant. But okay, again, like this is why we have markets. Okay, whatever. I don't think I care, dude. Alpha for 20 is a code name to give a secret information. That's true, Coven, okay. Roads, footpaths, need schools, and so on. I agree. This is... Okay, I think... I recognize if you... It conceivably could be true if you imported 50 million people to the U.S. overnight, okay? But just as the native-born population increases, we supply more of these things. When the foreign-born population increases, you can supply more of these things, right? And guess what? You can supply more of these things with the labor of the people who just came over. Like a fuck ton of immigrants work in construction. So that does not happen overnight. What? The building, didn't I just say that? I agree. Immigration increases GDP, so it's good. This is true. Unironically. Mostly unironically. But again, like the big issue is just that we are, which is an issue for people. That's not just an issue for immigrants. It's an issue for people in the U.S. now. Like, even if we had zero immigration, there's still the issue of artificially constraining housing supply, especially in cities. Are they all plumbers and electrician and civil planners, and then roads? Well, obviously not all of them, but like a lot of them, like I said, a lot of them do work, contribute to these things. But it's not impossible to supply more of these things as the population increases. That's why, that's why we saw that historically when we had more immigration, and we see it when the native-born population increases as well. Thanks, Quotas, for the follow. I appreciate it. What got you into politics? I don't really remember exactly a lot. Like semi into politics in like 8th grade. So I don't even remember exactly. I just remember like liking Bernie in 8th grade. And then I read more like, I read more. I didn't follow politics that much. I was just more like reading. I read like a lot of Noam Chomsky in like my freshman year of high school and like my sophomore year of high school. And like I would read not like, it was funny because I want to keep up with the news that much or anything. We all like Bernie in middle school. Yeah, don't worry. I grew out of it. Don't worry. That's true. Follow me. I'll follow you. He'll follow me back. Wow. I want to like keep up the news. Like I probably couldn't tell you who even had a majority in Congress, but I read like Noam Chomsky and people like that, and then like I don't know. I kind of just started getting into more like regular politics stuff and a lot more economic stuff in my like junior year and senior year of high school. As I started being less convinced of socialism and stuff, I found it more relevant to actually focus on what was happening. So now we have evil neoliberal non-fun. Give me a second. I want to make sure. Oh fuck. Okay, don't worry. It'll change when I watch Destiny. I mean, Destiny did have an impact on making me less socialist. Like that was a non-zero portion of it. Please touch grass for me. I need it. I was touching grass earlier. I don't really want to move from my spot right now. Okay, it's too dark to even see me touching the grass, but I am near grass. We don't need immigrants. We need robots and magical 3D printers. That's true. But guess what? And remember, Catrix, okay? Increasing returns to scale for ideas, okay? Someone in the U.S. inventing that technology for 3D printer, magical 3D printers, okay? That is a higher return when the U.S. population is higher, all right? So, immigrants lack the divine inspiration to build things to go. That's true. How fun I would consider that. Immigrants don't have the grace of who's a famous fucking civil planner. I don't know any like civil planners. But God doesn't care. The Onion dude doesn't care. All he cares about is lived experience. Okay, he doesn't care about any of the history of immigration we can look at, where we just did not see these major problems. He doesn't care. That we could easily supply more housing if zoning wasn't a big issue. Yeah. Because he has lived experience. Okay. I think I've seen 2 studies about the effects of immigrants on housing supply and housing prices. I think one finds immigrants are overall net positive because they build more housing than they take, and I think the other found the opposite. But it wasn't neither of the effects were very big, so it's probably basically even out either way. All stuff is irrelevant because the illegals do this or do that. Doesn't make the right laws are to be followed. They are not a guideline to ignore when it's convenient. We are a nation of laws. True. My life experience is that labor and capital always substitutes, not complements. True. I mean, that's obviously, I mean, I didn't use those terms, obviously, but, it can vary. There are definitely examples where immigrants and native-born workers are complements and not substitutes. And then I think what's funny is there's quite a bit of evidence for that with H-1B visas. And what's especially funny, I don't know the Onion's take on this, but presumably, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say this guy also hates when we are evil and offshore in jobs. I'm gonna take a wild guess that he doesn't like that. What's funny is that there's evidence from H-1B visas, at least, and presumably, I would imagine the same is true of other industries, and not just like software and H-1B visas. The companies probably, they offshore less when they can hire immigrants. Because a lot of tech companies will choose between, having foreign workers here or having foreign workers in India. You would prefer that, they at least have some U.S. workers here. Presumably, you would prefer that. But I don't know. Maybe he's super pro free trade and really anti-immigration. I don't, it's not a very common type of individual, though, so I doubt it. Commerce Secretary is the AI sector. I don't take anything he says seriously, but okay. Dude, I'm not American, so explain your certain visa you're talking about. Oh, H-1B. It's a H-1B visas are like visas for mostly like high skill immigrants. Not like the highest skill immigrants. We have like O1 visa for that, but like a lot of immigrants on H-1B visas are Indian and they work in the tech sector. So they work for companies like Google, like Facebook or Meta, and like Amazon. They do like software development stuff. There's like a minimum. There's like some minimum. The minimum salary is like $60,000. Now there are like exceptions to that, but it's mostly for like high skilled immigrants that, up until recently, even most Republicans would say, oh, I just don't like low skill immigration. I want more high skill immigration, like H-1B people. They're 10 million prompt engineers out of in 2026. That's true. They will. Let's go. That's the society I want. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why you're taking anything Howard Lutnick, or not Howard Lutnick, Scott Bessent says seriously. But like, he was just talking to, I talked about this yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago, I forget, my days are messed up. Like, he was just talking to people in the fucking textile industry, dog, saying like, oh, we're gonna revive U.S. textile manufacturing, okay? Where the textile industry is the backbone of the U.S. economy. He didn't say backbone, but he said it's an important sector of the U.S. economy or whatever. It's like, no, it's not. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are we doing? Also, Commerce Secretary said $150K will be salary for construction jobs. Lutnick is Commerce Secretary. Fuck, I got them messed up. Wait, Bessent is Treasury Secretary. Lutnick is Commerce Secretary. Okay, never mind. I messed him up. I don't think anything Lutnick says seriously. Either, by the way. Scott Sumner actually has a good blog post about like Lutnick. He's like it's called like, you look up Scott Sumner. You can't have it both ways. When he mentions like, look, I see like Lutnick talking about how corporate taxes reduce investment. And like, I think that's true. And like, I probably agree with Lutnick on some other things. But like, like he also just like lies through his teeth about the fact that tariffs don't raise prices, right? And it's like he knows he's wrong. So it's like, if you're gonna be the type of person to, suck up to Trump and just repeat what Trump wants you to say, you can't be you can't have it both ways, buddy. Okay, you got to choose one or the other. You're either the Trump dick sucker, or you're the person that other economists will actually take seriously when you propose something. Some ideas on the left are good, some are bad. The same goes for the right. Wow, incredible, brave take, The Onion. Brave take. Incredible. I never consider that. Yeah, I don't think anything Lutnick says seriously either. I think he's probably lying. I think he probably doesn't believe what he's saying. But yeah. It's also, I mean, Anyone who believes what he's saying, I don't know what the evidence of that would be. Ludwig has a good point about how they hate our beef because our beef is beautiful and theirs is weak. That's true. That's true. I suspect Ludwig is a Chabad cult follower. I don't know what that means. A really big difference is the left hate America. I feel they say it all the time. I don't think that's true. I mean, I think like maybe if you go far enough down the left, you're obviously going to find people who say that, but I obviously do not think that's true of the vast majority of people on the left, but all right. Okay. People ask if you are Jewish on the street, if you live in the real parts of America, real. It's an Orthodox Judaism cult. Oh yeah, okay, I know, okay, I know, let's go, yeah, okay. Parts of, yeah. But yeah, don't take anyone in Trump's administration seriously, okay? Like, I'm not gonna, like, I don't, in the first place, you should be taking regular economists and not people part of an administration more seriously, right? Like, in any administration is going to be like some, at least like ideology capture of, they're going to hire the economists who agree with the assumptions that they make about certain things anyway. First place, you should respect what ordinary economists are saying more than people in the administration. But this is Trump's administration we're talking about. And these people say insane things, insanely dumb things, insanely wrong things that they know they are wrong about. How many people said anything bad because they confuse you for being Jewish? More than you would expect. A lot of people ask if I am Jewish, and then I tell them, no, I'm not Jewish. I took a DNA test, I'm not Jewish. And then they say, I can see that nose, I think you're Jewish. Yeah. Difficult life as a streamer. Exclamation point TTS in the chat. I need some reparations. I am in fact Jewish. I just lied. I am in fact Jewish. Hated on for my identity. Facing the rising tide of anti-Semitism. Exclamation point TTS in the chat. Hit that donate link. Yes, if you want to obviously help pay reparations to a Jewish patriot. I'm gonna call you Jewish because being an economics factor actually that could be a bigger factor actually. Now that I think about it, that's probably that's probably why I think so actually. Yeah, you're right, Patrick. At least what happened in that Groper debate. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Author of the latest Hamas tunnel survival guide. Real, true. Don't hear someone actually did exclamation mark TTS. Oh fuck, I don't have that. Oh, I forgot Restream chat doesn't have it set up correctly to hide that, but yeah. Dude, that's what, by the way, I saw dude, I might need to find people to talk about the big beautiful bill with, because people I talked to in the Wix panel did not defend it, like barely defended it. I think I might tell Grid I want to talk to him about it because I think he defends it. RK running in 2028 in I don't know what that is. Explorers. Oh, that'd be weird. I think Grid defends it, but Tuple, I believe, defends it, but won't talk to me. I saw him tweet out I saw him subtweet me again because he retweeted some a thing from the rapid response, or quote tweeted it from the Trump rapid response team, and it was like the CEO of Home Depot saying oh, we might pay more in taxes just because our profitability will go up so much because of the bill. It's obviously the Laffer curve logic that we're doing here. Which maybe that's true for Home Depot, I don't know, but it's obviously not true in whole. And Patel was like, wait, but have we asked what the 20-year-old econ streamer thinks? Why? It's like, okay, like I quote tweeted him and said this, like you are delusional if you think the big beautiful bill is actually going to increase revenue. Like you're delusional. Okay, so I said I'd love to have a conversation about it, but he's not going to talk to me about it. So I might maybe Grid defends it. I know a few days from now Sarah's doing a show where people are going to be talking about it, so maybe I'll hop on that. Yeah. On a friend of the bill because he deregulated the banks. I don't even know. I don't know what bank regulation things are in it. I don't think that's the most impactful thing in a bill. But as I don't know, like I don't know where I stand on bank regulation anyway. So I'd have to. I'd be agnostic on it either way. Because I feel like I feel like either side could win me over. I just have to read more. I think, I don't want to read George Selgin. That was good art. I don't want to read about it. It's too much work. It's too complicated, too hard. My brain hurt. I don't know. I'll read. I don't know what I would read from George Selgin. I'll read George Selgin. I'll read Young, Dumb, Full of Cum. No offense, just a saying, true or real. I'll read George Selgin. I'll read Charles Goodhart. Okay, and a year from now, I'll report back to you on where I stand on banking regulation. But yeah. Leaked video shows 17-year-old Stephen Miller describing Iraqi torture in graphic detail as fellow U.S. soldier laugh. Not surprising. I gotta finish reading The Money Illusion. And I don't know what to read to combat The Money Illusion because I know like The Money Illusion has like controversially, like the obviously controversial view of the 2008 recession and things like that. But I also don't know, like I don't know like what to read on a 2008 recession that isn't just like slop. Because like obviously I don't know, like most of the stuff in 2008 recession or slop, and it's not like meaningful analysis of it. It's just I don't know what to read. That's just like actual perspective economics work that's still understandable to me. Joe Israel removes al-Jilani regime from control of Damascus? No, probably not. Just watched The Big Short. I have that book. I don't know if I want to watch the movie. I don't know if that's enough for me, Econo Boy. Even that doesn't. The Big Short is just about. Obviously, like one of the central claims in The Money Illusion is that the financial crisis didn't really cause the 2008 recession. To some extent, the financial crisis was triggered by. I think Scott Sumner was like, it's the movie's the best. Is it the best movie about economics ever? Okay, goddamn, maybe I will then. Obviously, like one of the things Scott Summers says is like it's unfair to say the financial crisis caused the recession. A lot of it was caused by contractionary monetary policy before the financial crisis, right? And he'll say like, even if and then he'll go on and say like, even if a mild recession was at some point inevitable from the subprime mortgage stuff. The Fed could have avoided much of could have made this recession severely less big if they had responded appropriately. And I don't know if The Big Short talks about talks about that at all, right? I think it's just, from my understanding, it's just about people who shorted whatever subprime mortgage, credit, what's it called? Credit deposit bullshit nonsense. Subprimes all caused by the Dems. True. True Snoop. I don't think that's true, but even if it were, like I said, I'm not convinced that was even like the big thing driver of the recession. Talking about the housing crisis a lot, yeah. But like I've read the first 30 pages of the Money Losers. Okay, I know when you saw like the housing market crash or whatever, a little before 2008, like it was I think like he said unemployment went up to 6% or whatever, but it's like it wouldn't have mattered if nominal spending was just kept on track, because they would have been reallocated to the sectors. The big issue was the overly contractionary monetary policy, and the nominal income kept at a stable 4%. You think the Dems it's gone. What was it? It was you can thank the Dems for something 2000s. Something in the 2000s. What? When Dems regulate mortgage companies to give loans to people that don't qualify, what do you expect to happen? I mean, did that start? I feel like that started before 2000s. I could be wrong. Didn't Fannie Mae? How long has Fannie Mae been around? I could be wrong. But regardless, I don't know. I'm not convinced that the subprime mortgage thing was the main driver of the 2008 financial of the recession, right? Again, I think there's a good chance that the causality is backwards there, and it was in fact the recession that caused the financial crisis. It's literally okay. It becomes harder. It becomes a lot harder to pay back your loans when your nominal income falls, right? Because nominal income, debts are nominal, right? It's a nominal payment that you make, and when your nominal income falls, it becomes a lot harder to pay back your debt, especially because not only is your nominal income falling, but you expected your nominal income to grow, right? You expected your nominal income to grow 4%. So if it actually falls 1%, that's a 5% decrease in the nominal income you expected to have for whatever loans. So, I think those are what do you expect when nominal income falls? People are not going to pay back their loans, right? So that's part of Scott Senra's case of the big issue was the decline in nominal income because of contractionary monetary policy, and not the subprime mortgage crisis itself, right? The bigger fundamental, deeper issue there is NGDP. It's nominal income growth. Anyway, my phone's pretty close to dying actually at this point. So, fun time. I'm going to end in a second here. I'll respond to some final chat messages, but I'm about to go walk home, and then I think honestly in a hour or two, I might be streaming again from my home with Isaac in person, and we don't know what we'll be doing exactly, but I don't know, we might not stream even, might be playing Wii games, might be fucking reacting to whatever Piers Morgan or Jubilee slop there is out there. But yeah. It's really made use of clandestine. Okay. W stream. Thanks, Isaac. I appreciate it. Are you watching while you're driving? You're just listening to this? Oh, after Trump, America leaves the two-party system and 3 or 4 parties. I think you'd have to change the voting system to do that, right? I think, where are you? What do you mean by that? The goat is mole. That's true, baby W fart. No. What do you mean? I'm at a park. Come outside. Are you outside PBG's house? Yes, I am outside PBG's house. I'm at my neighborhood park. This stream is a nice change of pace, Ricky. Nominal income has nothing to do with paying your mortgage. Both are fixed unless you're a fool and get a ARN. I don't see how obviously nominal income affects your ability to pay back your debts. That's what when you say it's fixed. But okay, either way, when you say regardless if it's a fixed rate or if it's a fixed amount, your nominal income still matters. Obviously, your nominal income affects your ability to pay back debts. Like, obviously. Can you do 10 push-ups? I don't wanna. Maybe if I'll do 10 push-ups for $20 or maybe $10. What am I willing to do it for? I don't know. $15. I'll split it halfway. 50 exclamation mark TTS in chat. Donate $15. Okay. I'll do 10 push-ups. Buy a house. It's not easy, but they want you to rent. Who is there? I mean, I think I said, can you do 10? I am physically capable of doing 10. Yeah. Not very. You paid a mortgage when Dan's made eggs cost $20 a carton. That's true. Not really do 10. Okay. Do a frog sound? I can't do a frog sound. Bass I sound true. Black rock? True. Oh my god. That's true. Black Rock wants you to rent. That's true. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not necessarily see myself ever owning a home. Not because I think homes are too expensive. Well, I do think homes are too expensive, but I'm not saying that in like the Gen Z way. Oh, I'll never own a home because boomers and BlackRock are buying other homes and no one in America can afford a home anymore. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I don't think I see myself buying a home. I think I see myself mostly renting apartments in cities or they want to control your ads. That's true. Why aren't you able to make a frog sound? Like, what do you want? I can say ribbit. Do you want me to do that? Ribbit. Are you happy? 10 push-ups an hour if you're awake 12 hours, so 120 push-ups a day. Just a thought. I feel like it'd be, obviously by like the 6th hour, I feel like it'd be way too hard to do 10 additional push-ups. That's what they want you to think. I do think homes are too expensive, but like I said, that's not in like a Gen Z. No one can afford a home anymore. Way in a we artificially constrain supply kind of way. The young can find a way. That's true. Rent is very expensive these days. Well, that's true, but so was owner occupied housing. So, but like I said, I think I prefer rent a localist house. True. I think I prefer the city. City life, apartment life. Okay, I want to live in a high-rise apartment. Okay, I don't want to live in a stupid suburb. Okay, I want to live in an apartment above a subway. When we went on a road trip recently in Greensboro, I used to live in Greensboro. I went to we stopped at some restaurant that was like below some apartment buildings, and it was wonderful. Okay, it was truly beautiful. Okay, I want to live in one of those apartments, and right beneath me there's a Subway. There's like a fancy, like fucking vegan sandwich restaurant. Okay, there was like a noodle restaurant there. I don't live there. I want to live there. Okay, but yeah. Okay, well, lessons learned. Okay, nominal income growth matters. Do you know that Krispy Kreme was founded in Winston-Salem? I know it's founded in North Carolina. Vegan, true. Well, actually, okay. Let's go in order. Lessons learned during this stream. Okay, you should be vegan. Almond milk is not vegan. Insect suffering matters. Okay, immigration is good. Okay, gains from immigration are in fact large. Open the borders. What are we talking about? Then we talked about homes. Don't artificially, repeal a lot of the zoning laws we have now. What's the last thing? Oh, nominal income growth probably matters. Okay, probably should have some type of stable nominal income growth. Okay, probably should be the thing that is done. But is honey vegan? So you're not going to eat honey? I don't think honey's vegan. We were talking about that earlier, but I think bees are, another lesson from the stream, bees are likely sentient. And I think I was talking about this on Twitter earlier, but it seems like bees are like, you know, if any insect is sentient, it would be bees. Bees exhibit a lot of behaviors that we would expect from beings that are sentient and you know, can feel pain and things like that. So not gonna internet now, okay, because my phone's at less than 20%. Okay, so I gotta go back. Plus I don't want to be out here while Isaac gets to my home. But you should know this: schools ranked East Carolina, NC State. I mean, I'm broadly familiar with their ranking. Wait, Duke is number 6. What's the justification for that? Okay. Anyway, regardless, okay, I gotta get on. Okay, so fun stream. Don't forget to send Israel resident permit application. What the fuck? True. Fun stream. I'll see you guys later. I think we're doing an IRL stream tomorrow. Might be doing a another stream tonight. We'll see. And then yeah, should be getting a podcast episode filmed too, and then that'll be uploaded to the YouTube channel. So if you guys aren't subscribed to the YouTube channel, exclamation point YouTube in chat, go check out the YouTube channel, go subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Yeah. Oh, I stop this. Yeah, okay, I'll see you guys later.